Well, good evening, YouTube Model Railroader fans. I'm Ray, a day late. Reason being, yesterday was my daughter's, well, we had a party for my daughter. It was her 16th birthday this past week, so we had the party for her yesterday, and that ran, started at 1:30, and we basically ran until about 10 o'clock last night. And needless to say, by the time it was done, I was done. So, therefore, we're a day late. But that's okay. Welcome to vlog number 9. I got some things I wanted to that I wanted to go through. First thing is, of course, last week, as you all know, I mentioned the fact that I'm going to be on the YouTube Model Builders Live. Also, for the month of April. But there was a couple other things that came up. This week I actually I'm up to, I think, 57 or 55 subscribers and almost 1,200 or 1,100 views. So things are still looking up, and I haven't made anybody mad. At least I hope I don't make anybody mad. Anyway, been watching a bunch of Vinny out there, and of course my computer down here is going through its updates, so I can't look at his actual YouTube handle. I think it's 69 something. BNSF. Got to get my eye teeth fixed so I can see what I'm saying. BNSF 6951 or 52. I'll make sure, I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. I'll make sure I put a link on the video. Anyway, been watching him and his scratch-built structures. And I know I mentioned in a vlog, I guess it was a couple weeks ago. I don't remember which number it was now. Fortunately, I've done so many, I don't remember what I've done. I guess that could be a good thing. But anyway, there is one structure that I would like to scratch build. And I really can't say too much because the light is right up there. It happens to deal with something that's kind of close to her. Anyway, I went through on one of the programs that I've got, and I think I mentioned it before, but I came up with, of course you guys can't see anything. There we go. The lighting in here stinks. That is the front, this is the back of the main building. I've actually got it to where it is HO scale. So this is going to get unique because this house has actually got like 3 parts. This here was kind of an outbuilding. It's actually, it looks like it's a 3-car garage. It's not. It was actually a carriage house. And this is a breezeway over here, and this is actually the front, this is the back side of that. And that actually meets up with this addition to the house. And then there was another piece that connects to the one side. Now, the only issue that I had is when I went to print this out, the one side of the main building didn't print out correctly. So I'm going to have to go through and kind of play with that a little bit. I think I've got an idea as to how I can correct it. Sorry about blocking my, however, what I'm thinking about doing, and with this, is actually going ahead and either putting it on the foam core, or taking in the old manila folders, which I've got plenty of them, and kind of pasting the diagram or the paper to that, and kind of test building it before I build it, I guess, for lack of a better term. So that's just a thought that I've had, because it is going to be a fairly ornate thing, and it's going to have a huge footprint once I'm done. I was kind of surprised when I went ahead and printed this thing out as to how big the footprint is actually going to be. It may not fit on the future, but which is another thing. I really don't want to go building a full plastic structure yet, because I don't know how far away I'm actually going to be from rebuilding this beast off to my right. So, with that being said, I do want to play around with it a little bit and get my, I guess for me, just get my hands dirty with scratch building, because I've never scratch built anything. In fact, I've never kit bashed anything. So Vinny has kind of gotten me thinking about, some of the things that I've been wanting to do or want to try. So there we go. And of course, I'm biting off more than I could ever chew with doing something as intricate as that. But hey, I think if I do it in pieces, it'll be alright. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you guys. In fact, I might actually do some videos as I'm playing around with, what I'm doing, so that way I can get, hey, try it this way, try it that way type of stuff. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So that's been one thing. And of course, I've noticed that Ron, I think his last name is Perry, P-A-R-E. I think he pronounces it Perry. I know he's another Canuck, and I keep shaking the bench. One of these days I'm going to get something that mounts this thing a little bit better. Anyway, he was talking about, or had a video up about doing Bachmann flat cars and some loads. And of course, I forgot to bring them over from the railroad, but one of the ones that I actually had sitting in the box, which we kind of touched on the other week, was this dude. Obviously, it's a Great Northern. It's a 6-wheel or a 12-wheel, 6 on each side, flat car. And I went ahead and built, and I forgot, I think it was IHC, made a transformer kit. Now, of course, the thing isn't painted. As the Lionel clock tells us, it's 8 o'clock. But it's unfortunately, because it's been floating around inside the box with the foam in it, it's falling apart. It needs to be re-glued. But what I've done here is this is actually, remember I was telling you guys when I was doing the wiring that the gray wires are 4-conductor plus a ground? Well, I never used the ground. So anytime I would cut a piece of that out so it wasn't in the way, I went ahead and took it apart, and I was using it as tie-down straps. And that's what you see here, is it's literally the tie-downs is that third, is just one piece of that stranded wire. It worked out fairly well, I think. I mean, it's not perfect. It's probably, not 100% prototypical, but then again, like I said, it was something for me to play around with. Now, what I am going to be doing, though, is I want to take this and I want to move it over to something that I'd found that I still had, and that's this Bachmann. This is an old Bachmann, which is probably a predecessor to what Ron was playing with, but this doesn't have the holes. It's got the tie-down spots, but it doesn't actually have holes in them, so I'm going to have to modify it slightly. I don't know how well that's going to work out. But I'm going to play with it a little bit, and I'm going to take that transformer. Quit shaking the bench. I want to take that transformer, put it on this low boy, because one of the reasons why it was floating around in the box with the rest of the flat cars was the transformer actually sits a little too high, and it was catching the blinking bridge as it was going under. Dumb me didn't bother to pull out the gauge to see if, it was going to make it or not. And the other thing of it is this gauge is great if you're scratch building or building stuff on your own. Unfortunately, Bachmann didn't follow the standard when they went ahead and put that blinking bridge together, and even the high-cubed boxcars used to hit it until my father went ahead and raised it up a little bit and actually glued it to the top of the trusses. So they work underneath of there now. They didn't before. So there is one other piece of unfortunate news. I think when we were playing around with the steam, I said that the 484, that big chassis system Bachmann engine that I've got, wasn't running right, and the other week I took it apart and I thought I had it fixed. Well, not so much. There's a gear only on one set of drive wheels that drives the whole thing. That gear is actually got a crack in it. And I thought maybe playing around with it a little bit or whatever, I could go ahead and keep it together. I tried running that locomotive tonight, and the drive wheel popped right out of the gear. So unfortunately, I think that that's going to become basically a, if I build a new layout, it may become a static display or a museum piece type thing. Otherwise, it may just sit on the shelf. But so that's 2 steam locomotives now that that have bit the dust within the last week. Uh, so I was hoping to be able to show him running tonight, but I know Martin from Holland, and I'm sorry, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce your last name because I'm sure I'm going to butcher the living heck out of it, so we're not going to go there, Martin. But I know I had a request from Martin when I was going through my rolling stock the other week. He wanted to see something specific, so what we're going to do is we're going to stop here for a second. We're going to roll over to the layout. I'm going to show you a couple of those other cars that I did that wire trick with, and we're going to go ahead and run this one special locomotive around a couple times, and with that being said, we'll be right back. Alright, well, before I go ahead and start that locomotive up, or that train up, oh, there he is. Sorry about that. The boat. That is an Athearn, I believe. And that, again, all that is just a wire, and it's just going into the little things on the side of the flat car and up over the boat, and down the other side it's just being twisted. So that's what I did with that, which was good, because when I got the car, the boat could slide back and forth, and that was causing problems. So anyway, turning around, I went ahead and I pulled out the Virginian hopper cars. Let's see, I got 2, 4, 6. I got a total of 9 of them on there, and of course I've got more hopper cars, but this here happens to be, and I actually put a picture up of it up of this on Google Plus. This is a unit, basically a unit train. It's all one road, you know, all one type of car. So it was just something I had picked up. I actually had picked it up because I had a Tyco locomotive, but of course that blew up. And then I found this on eBay and just went ahead and, you know, put it together. Like I said, because of the fact at the moment that I really don't have a need to be running hopper cars. There he is. You know, running the hopper cars. You know, I normally don't have them out on the layout, but I figured, what the hey. The other week I showed them. I figured this week I'd go ahead and actually bring them out onto the layout and let them run around for a little bit, which I did earlier, and then, you know, just run them around once here, and then I'm waiting for him to come out from underneath the Boeville. The funny thing of it is, with that Athearn locomotive, that was a, I think they called it a superpower or super weight at one point. It has the extra weight inside of it. So, alright, I'm going to stop here. We'll go back to the bench. Nice. This thing's been keeping track for me this week. Woo! So, basically, that's what we've got. I mean, for once in the last couple of weeks, I'm actually going to be able to get this one here pretty close to that 15-minute mark. I know the last couple of weeks I've been like well over the 15-minute mark, and I've been trying to keep these at 15 minutes or less, so I'm not boring the living heck out of people. It is what it is. So that's basically all the update I've got for this week. You know, like I said, we got that Virginian out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pack him back up. It's one of the things I've been wanting to ask on YouTube, or ask the modelers, and I think I'll go ahead and just kind of stick that in here with the vlog. Not on the vlog, but when I go ahead and post it to the group. I've got a couple questions. I want to see what people's thoughts are. But with that being said, like I said, I know I'm real close, if not just over that 15-minute mark, and I've been trying to keep these things to 15 minutes or less. Sounds like a commercial. Anywho, with that being said, I'm cracking myself up. This cannot be a good thing. Uh, you all know the deal. You have a good week. Wait for the highball. Green Drax ahead, and we'll see you all next week.